Season 3, Episode 1, Embodying the King of Pentacles. We are vessels that carry energy and spirit and a quality of magnetic nature. And so the idea behind embodying is to be filled with the spirit of the King of Pentacles. His idea is based on the individual that has, rather than desires. Excuse me. And so when you begin to interface with life in that respect, then you start to move differently. The reasoning behind why and how you're moving is different. Somebody that has all the means, whose debts are all paid off, whose student loans are all paid off, whose bank account is already filled. It's all taken care of. By universal law, by law of nature. I give myself a $2 a minute rate. How many minutes are in a day? 9,000? Like a 15-hour day. Double that, 18,000 a day, just by being. You could give yourself $1 million a minute rate. It begins there. And the idea and the theory. And so the major underlying principle becomes, I am that which I desire. And therefore I already am, and I have, and I am the embodiment of that which I desire. Similar pulls together with similar. It's a gravitational magnetic pull. And so your polarity grade becomes that which, by universal law, this individual is of the quality of the King of Pentacles. Therefore, by universal law, he must become the King of Pentacles. So I challenge you to do that. I challenge you to commit yourself to move in that. And I challenge you and I dare you to move with the spirit and the energy. Some would say following your passion. What you don't see at the bottom of the deck. King of Hearts. At the top of the deck, the Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles, and this goes for qualities that you feel maybe that you are at a deficit at. confidence, outspokenness, feeling comfortable in being outspoken. Know that you are already that. And that is the paradox of life. Because in instant by instant, you are moving to the energy of the creator. And that's what master manifesting is, aka magnetizing. It's funny, but even with employment, you know, as in the phrase self-employment, can you really get behind the idea that you are self-employed and yourself? So the Knight of Pentacle is on this sojourn, this journey to the King of Pentacles. In fact, you could even argue that he already is the King of Pentacles, but it takes that practice of that embodying and that knowing. Now he's looking to the King of Hearts for the king status, possibly not knowing that the only thing that differentiates them is the inner knowing. Of that nature. So, apologies, I had an incoming call. Let's see what else comes out here. Theme of inspiration, moving, in a way that is, but in a way that embodies and it's a matter of reclaiming your full magnetic self. In a realm that's convinced us that we need all that which is outside of ourselves. Coming out of conflict. 10 of Wands in the upright, putting down an arduous task. Because that which we have looming over ourselves becomes that which we are carrying. It's almost as if like a problem that we have to carry and figure out. Because we're still subscribing to the initiation of lack, really. It's an initiation. It's brainwashing. That keeps this kind of hanging sword over our head. And so to metaphysically or quantum spiritually remove that or realize that it's a facade is a huge revelation. Because then you move from the hemisphere of your mind that says, oh my God, the sky is falling, I got to fix this or figure it out, to, and that's the left side of your brain, which is logic, reason, to the right hemisphere of your brain, which is, oh, let me co-create, and not only co-create, but let me enjoy this and have fun while I'm doing this. And you could only do that two ways and lose yourself. The first way that I was going to say is to approach the gate of personhood via the embodying nature that we've been talking about. The understanding that I am that which I desire. And that allows you to be whole and complete. And that allows you to kind of defrag yourself from, oh, the sky's falling, there's not enough, or I need to do this, that, and third, and desire, want, outside of myself. Right? It could be in the system of commerce, capitalism, or relationship, what have you. So you begin to remind yourself and train yourself manually, but the other way is of completely losing the self, the I, right? Which yogis and Buddhas and spiritualists and Krishna's Christ consciousness speaks to, where you're so involved that you lose a measurable thing. And that's a state of being, where you're almost kind of completely unconscious because you're so caught up in that which you're doing. And I think that that is a trainable thing. I think that on the precipice, on the doorway, on the gateway of the learning of the deprogramming of the matrix, which is that time, space, money continuum, treadmill, hamster wheel that we're on. And that actually puts you in a better position to create anyways, and be more useful anyways, and to be more loving anyways, and to be one that enjoys life and sees the solutions in front of them that you were hindered from seeing because you were on this hamster wheel. Yeah, this is an emphasis on seeing your world open up when you move with spirit. When you embody that confidence and that love. Two of Wands in the upright. Six of Wands in the reverse, your morality, your ethic, your compass. Seven of Heart in reverse. It's doing what you would do if money were not an issue. And it's not an issue because you're embodying that. Seven of Heart in reverse. Could be confusion coming out of options. Ace of Sword in the upright. Victory, selection, decision, divine decision, and intervention. Queen of Heart in the upright. This could be a maternal figure. Coming out of a third-party situation. So a lot of like realizing your worth and your value, what Muji would call the universal gemstone. You know, the antenna or the polarity required to live and or manifest and or attract or embody. I think embodying is being the step further from manifesting or magnetizing. That antenna to tune into or that polarity. It's not outside of yourself. You are it. You are that philosopher's stone that could do all. It's almost as if, like, if we're talking money or love, you know, famously, like ballers, players, athletes, people with a lot of it, they always say, like, oh, money ain't a thing. Yeah, embody that. You can embody that here and now. Or same thing with like relationships or whatever. But when you're so thirsty and hungry from it, you're so far from it. You know. And it's not in distance, it's in the quantum. So it's like you are it. Realizing that you are it. Like when people are like, I'm the shit, they're saying like I'm it. And I know that I'm it. And I have it. And I am it. Because I am it. And it's just an awakening to it. And some would say it's an awakening to the fact that you're God. Or again, if you want to talk the language of like Bill Donahue, which I'm taking a lot of what I'm saying now from him. You're moving from the left hemisphere to the right hemisphere where God is, because the creative hemisphere is the right hemisphere. That's also why they keep you from using your left hand. They want you right hand minded, instructional, what have you. So maybe teaching yourself how to write with your left hand would be something as well. Let me take this call. Hi, this is Dylan. Hey, how's it going, Warren? Yeah. The relationship. You're wondering if the relationship is going to happen. Yeah, I think it will. I see the Ten of Cups here. That is the energy of a harmonious relationship. It just feels like one of those kind of like age-old things of like, you're battling yourself first and foremost. So you're going to want to like embody that which you feel that you might be lacking. So for instance, like the easy tagline is like, if I feel like I'm impatient, I tell myself, okay, I'm embodying patience. And you begin to be that which you feel you require outside of yourself, and that's a way of personally empowering yourself again. you know but yes, objectively speaking, yes, I see good energies for um, relationship. Yeah, but and also, not for nothing, but like you have to also get in the mindset of like the creative aspect of a relationship, because you guys are creating this connection together. It's like a build it as you go. So you want to make sure that you're operating from not just the left hemisphere of your mind, of your brain, because that's usually the thing that's kind of like cutthroat logic, reason. You want to get more into that creative, harmonious, which is that kind of creative thinking mind. So I think with that comes more of like that enjoyability of the relationship as well. you know
Well, and I think like you said, we still laugh a lot together. We don't get serious, you know. I feel like I really enjoy it with the whole person right around. I'm not sure what his thoughts are on me. Maybe a little quiet at times, but which is fine. I don't like know what to say with the things that he is.
Yeah. And so in that, is that the question of what does he think of you?
I guess or what do you think he is, you know, about things.
Okay, let's see.
To some degree.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, I think that this person, and I think you mentioned that this was new, so I think he's still kind of in that new phase. The Ace of Cup here is about this kind of new emotion, this new potential love, or that which kind of fills the person up emotionally. So it comes across as positive, but it also comes across as still new and fresh. So I don't think that he's in as much of a negative or analytical space. So I don't think that you have to worry about that. You know. Yeah, and I do see like a matching pair here as well, so which is good to see. Um, but again, I think it's more so you just kind of working with yourself, continuing to shut off that kind of like worst case scenario, which we all
I
have.
know. And
You know.
sometimes I look at my past too, and I'm trying really hard to turn on and things. I got a lot of limitations in the last, situations. I mean, I am patient. I'm feeling something kind of hard.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
even from the phone, I'm like, it makes me almost want to sleep, but I don't want to do that.
yeah,
Because I feel like it's definitely worth. I don't want to sleep. I feel like that's not. I feel like it's worth pursuing.
yeah. I mean, but again, this is all like a deeper like conversation. We're talking about how does one handle the space that they have in their life. You could either look at it as an enemy that you could react negatively to, or you could look at it as room for play and again co-creation. It really does boil down to the individual's relationship with that interfacing with space, we'll call it, in their life.
Right.
So it's a deeper thing. It's not this kind of like flyover. I could tell you good things about the cards because I see them here. But again, this is like a deeper part of your own personal journey as well. You know.
Right. Right. No, I understand that.
Yeah.
I am an ever evolving person, and I feel like I just continuously work on myself. So that's
Yeah.
to be aware of.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're talking about like this kind of like fight or flight mechanism when faced with space. So that's going to be a part of your own understanding of what that is. And I think ultimately what like spirituality does is it says like, oh, it's the realization that I am that space. So I don't have to flee from it. And it's actually not.
It's like running over yourself. I totally understand. And that's something that I kind of always picked up somewhat. I mean, even if it's temporarily, and I don't want to do that.
Of course, yeah, because you may miss out on a good thing.
Running away from myself is ridiculous,
Oh, of course, yeah, and that's everybody. It's not just you that I think we all could do a lot better to learn to like in those moments, like sit in meditation or sit with it as opposed to fleeing from it or trying to negatively fill it, with a bad habit or a bad acting out or whatever.
Right. And I don't push, my young time so much, but it would never be like, oh, we're in a relationship, it would never be that of this time.
Yeah,
If someone, if it's a relationship that I wanted to happen on its own, it was not a person that goes in that way on people.
yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I mean, I do see relationship energies here though, so um, things do look good. I think a lot of it is. I think a lot of it also is the kind of like unspoken dynamic or contract of, some people rush into the physicality, some people cross boundaries and lines, and sometimes that could set up for failure, depending on if it ends up not working out on the emotional aspect of things, So that's something to keep in mind as well is, how are you leading in that realm versus, giving the right amount of time to figure out, do I even like this person? The pet peeves only really come out like, after like 3 months, 4 months, when you start to see
Right.
past, the.
Well, I mean, I've known him, I was kind of open friendship for probably 6 months, and it's kind of gone over. But I do know things about him. I know how he can be somber, he can be very quiet, he can, you know what I mean? I think we do know, but I just see him out of the blue, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I think that's good. I'm not a person to jump generally, so I feel like we do have somewhat of a good basis.
Yeah, most definitely.
We will have to go.
Yeah, I do see that. I do see, the good base level here. Four of Pentacles is about stability and that kind of platform to build off from. So,
Right. And then you have one good quality. He's creative, he's genuine, he seems sincere, he's honest,
mhm.
and we just have a big attraction to each other that he can help.
Right, yeah.
I mean,
Yep,
I'm not naive, I don't think attraction is everything, but I know that I think we have a pretty big attraction to each other, more so than I probably have with anybody for a long time.
sure, most definitely.
And that makes me think this is going to bring more joy into it.
I think the joy is there, but I think it's just a matter of like taking off whatever filters and whatever, you know, to kind of echo the sentiment from before, where it's like, we cut our own leg off by like living too much in the analytical logic reason, you know.
Right, I know. And I am a very logical person, you know,
Yeah,
to some degree.
yeah,
But I am, like I said, I've tried about a lot of negativity out of my life for the last 6 months, and I feel like I've really come a long way.
right.
So I'm not trying to continue to do that. But I mean, I put it in company so much, I don't want that to go away. I
Yeah,
think it can do that.
yeah, most definitely. Yeah, and that's a lot about it, is where it's like if let's say, like, the person's mind is so loud or so in the way that it tips the scale from enjoyment to worry, then it's like, well, now you've just kind of, tipped the balance of the relationship, where it's like no longer
I
with.
know, and I don't want to do that. Right, right. That's something that comes a little really character aspect. But I have way better than I used to be. But
Yeah,
yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying. Because I don't want to sabotage.
yeah, yeah. I mean, luckily that's not out here, you know.
Okay. And I don't think it's something worth pursuing. And, you know,
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. Yeah, it's just coming across as like, it's gonna be what you make it here. I'm just seeing a lot of creative working energy, where it's like you're building and creating it as you go. So
yeah, I know he's very much a creator type of person. You know,
yeah,
probably less analytical than me, I would say.
yeah, yeah. So hopefully, like a
There's
good,
ways that we grow in that.
yeah, hopefully like a good osmosis, where it's like, you rub off on each other, and like you pick up a little bit of that creative aspect, he picks up a little bit of the framework aspect, analytical stuff. Yeah, so good things here. I mean, no real red flags. No real red flags. So looks good.
So I'm ready for something good in the relationship wise. And then obviously I'm working a couple minutes too. So
Yeah,
like to have a person that has this puts together effort in and needs something to bring down the road.
yeah, most definitely.
Because I've been very much a giver with great energy. And I don't feel like I'm being that way.
Yeah, yeah. Learning like the love languages and whatnot, I think, are also key. So that you're not just like, running in the same place, not getting anywhere with
Right,
your efforts. You know.
right, right.
So
Right. Well, thank you.
all right, thank you. Have a great day. Feel free to call back again. Bye.
All right.
I'm gonna pause that because they're gonna flag me. Oh my god. Sorry, I was taking a call right now. How's it going, Josephina? I was taking a call with a client. Oh, I was leaning on the wrong way in my neck. Who's gonna take me from myself?